festival in Chicago, and I'm here to speak out against GMOs. I'm one of the partners in Moms Across America, and we are trying to raise awareness among mothers and our entire population about the dangers of GMOs to our health and to our children's welfare.
Kathleen, I am just so excited to meet you because we've collaborated before with Zen Honeycutt on the weekly Women's GMO Free Show. So it's such a pleasure. Why don't you talk about the marches in July?
Well, Zen and I are planning parades across the nation on the 4th of July. Everybody can jump into whatever parade they're attending on the 4th of July in any town across America. If you just go to our website, momsacrossamerica.com, you can either sign up to be a leader in your own town, or you can join into a parade that's already been established. We will give you t-shirts, flyers, and banner designs so that you can stand up in front of everybody and march along and maybe pass out flyers and educate people about GMOs and the need for labeling.
Love it. We're doing a march in Boise. I understand this is now an international march. That's great. Why are you so passionate about educating other mothers about genetically modified foods?
Because I'm a mother of 3 boys, just like my partner Zen, and my boys have autoimmune issues and food allergies, and Zen's boys have severe food allergies. And each of us discovered separately that when we took our families off of GMOs, that our children's health improved. My oldest son's condition was pretty severe. In the middle of 2nd grade, he was a perfectly normal, healthy, happy boy, top of his class in every subject. But one day, just after Christmas break, his personality changed and he lost his ability to be able to write clearly. His handwriting became really sloppy. He regressed in math. He became irritable, angry. He had signs of depression. He would sit under his desk at school. He didn't want to perform. One day he wouldn't wear his left shoe to school. He said it was too tight. He wouldn't go to bed at night. He'd fight with us and argue over everything. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, so we spent thousands of dollars and went to several specialists, therapists, and counselors to try and find out what was happening with our child. No one could diagnose him. Everyone said he seemed to have symptoms from kind of everything, but he wouldn't fit into one box. And it turns out it was one of these strange autoimmune conditions that are popping up all over the U.S. now. And it's called PANDAS, Pediatric Autoimmune Neurological Disorder Associated with Strep. And what it was an underlying invisible strep infection that was going on. And it works like rheumatic fever, where the antibodies, when you have strep and you have rheumatic fever, the antibodies attack the heart valve. And they can stop the heart. That's why doctors put people on antibiotics when they get strep. In the case of our son, the antibodies were going up into the brain and affecting his behavior. So once we found that out, he had a tonsillectomy. We put him on antibiotics. We got rid of the strep in his system. But I didn't want to keep him on antibiotics long term. We have to give him some antibiotics as we go along. But I wanted to keep that to the bare minimum. So I started looking into diet to build his immune system and make it stronger. And then I learned about GMOs, and I discovered that they're pretty bad for our health. And we took our family off of GMOs, and all 3 of our boys' health improved. Our younger boys have some symptoms of PANDAS, but I think that I nipped it in the bud in my family soon enough that we have it managed in the other boys. But our oldest boy is again successful, healthy, happy. Everything's fine. We have him back, and it's such a happy story that I want to share with other parents that I think these GMOs are affecting our children in really negative ways. I've learned that 1 in 3 children in the classrooms or in our children's population have one of what's called the 4 A's: autism, allergies, autoimmune, or asthma. Everybody knows a family that's been affected by this. And this generation of children really need our help. And after having looked into GMOs and learned from friends who went off GMOs that their kids got better, pediatricians who recommend their children get off GMOs, all those kids get better. Nutritionists know this. They're seeing this. They're getting kids off GMOs, and their patients are getting better. And then I talked to a farmer, and the farm animals that have health problems, they have a lot of health problems and behavioral problems now. They're irritable. Their birth rate is down. Sometimes they're completely sterile. And farmers are figuring out that when they take their animals off GM feed, that the animals' health issues go away. So all of these things together just have convinced me that we need to look out for our children's population. And maybe instead of feeding them goldfish, like everybody likes to feed kids, buy the organic version of Annie's Bunnies. Instead of feeding Cheerios, which also have GMOs, find the organic version. Slowly switch your family off of GMOs, and I believe you will see a big health improvement. And tell your friends, go to momsacrossamerica.com, sign up to join one of our parades, and please help us to spread the word. I just get so sad when I go into classrooms. You know, on average, classrooms have 30 kids, say. 5 or 6 kids in every classroom, without exception, have trouble learning. When I work with the other students in my son's classes, they're currently in grades 5, 3, and 2. I see these children struggling to learn, and they just don't have the capacity, or they have health issues. And I feel so bad for them, and I feel like we should all look around and say, what are we doing to this generation? What is causing this? And when we look at GM farming, which is a pesticide-intensive, chemical-based way of farming that is sold to farmers as an excellent way of controlling weeds, I think that we need to think about what we're putting onto and into our food. Please investigate GMOs. Look at BT corn. You'll discover that bacterial toxin is inserted into every cell in that kind of corn, and that corn itself is patented as a pesticide. The corn is a pesticide, and we're making that into food for our population. And then you have Roundup Ready corn and soy and cotton, and it's all just doused in chemicals. And then what do they rotate the cotton fields with? Peanuts. So the peanuts get extra, pesticide, and they're having problems with these pesticides and herbicides they're using on the crops. Farmers are becoming desperate because they're having super weeds and super pests and super fungus that are resistant to all these chemicals they're using. So the big seed companies and the GM companies have petitions in front of the government to either have them approve harsher and harsher kinds of pesticides. They want to have 2,4-D approved, which is one of the ingredients in Agent Orange. And they're looking to approve dicamba, which is a known carcinogen. They want to put these things on our foods. The EPA is considering now raising the acceptable level of glyphosate in our water and our food and our environment because there's so much Roundup being dumped on our fields. Please don't use Roundup around your house. We need to stop using these chemicals in our environment. It's hurting our children. That's why I'm motivated to get out and speak and have people learn about what GMOs are and what's happening in our population.
You are so passionate. I love it, and we need more moms to get as passionate as Kathleen. So please go to Moms Across America and sign up for a march in your area or start a march in your area. You can also find Kathleen on Facebook at Moms Across America, and you can join us with Zen Honeycutt and others at the GMO-free Women's Weekly GMO-free News every Friday morning. Google Hangout. Yeah, that's also on Facebook. So Kathleen, thank you so much for your insight and all your hard work.
Anytime.